Hey, my little angels, how are you all? Please come in, come in. Be comfy. I have a home movie to show you. Everybody have a seat. You can sit in the rocking chair over there. That'll fit 2 of you. I have all 5 hammocks set up around the TV. Yeah. 3 of you comfortably, 4 of you friendly. Good. And we're in the family room today, so you can sit in Uncle Angel's big recliner. 2 of you, 2 of you. And we have Candy's couch. You can share. Excuse the fur. And I do have meditation cushions laid out. Help yourselves. And of course, some hardback chairs too. Good. And I see we have some new little angels. Hi, guys. Hi. Thank you so much for being here for our field trip. Please give it a thumbs up. You can share it. Sharing is caring. If you silently watch, that's absolutely fine. I'm happy for that. But if you're comfortable commenting, please do. We love the comments on this channel. I love knowing what you think and feel, your ideas, your suggestions, your questions, because we're connecting. And when we connect, we take this great big world and go and make it smaller. And that's a very, very good thing. And please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you. And hello to all my returning little angels. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for always being with me. Please keep the comments and the love coming. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoy this field trip. I know I took you guys with me as we went along, but this was the synopsis version. And it's a long one. And it's just a blah, blah, blah ramble. So you can enjoy it, or you can just let it be background noise, or I can just keep you company for the day, part of the day. I love that. I hope you enjoy it. I really do, guys. And I did, as the video goes on, I taped less and less. It was hot, okay? But I did want to tell you that I really enjoyed the Football Hall of Fame, and highly recommend it. And I highly recommend the Bourbon Trail. And the rabbit hole was probably my favorite, I have to be honest. But Angel's Envy for merch, because it had all angel wings, right? Okay, so without further ado, I hope you enjoy this. Okay, my little angels, we've just left Toronto. The 4 of us are in the car, and we're driving to Ohio. So that's Natalie driving, and there's Uncle Angel. He says hi, and that's her husband, Jim. And we've all known each other forever. Natalie and I actually went to high school together. So here's some beautiful scenery. We're on our way to the bridge to pass over into the U.S. And, you know, I always get a thrill when we do that. It just reminds me that we're making the world smaller. And I love that. I think that makes us so close, you know. But it's a long bridge. It really is. And we did get a beautiful day for the drive. So here we are. We are now in the States. And the scenery is beautiful. I just couldn't get over how bright and sunny, even with the clouds. We had just stopped for a bio break, as my work used to call it, and to grab a coffee. And then we're going to get back on the road, and we're going to go to Ohio. And we've got an Airbnb for the night, and I'm excited. And here it is, guys. They told me, and I couldn't believe it. Look how excited I am. We are going to TJ Maxx. We found a Ross and a Burlington, and I believe this is Burlington. And of course, you know, I had to go look at the purses right away. They had some beautiful ones. I was very tempted, but I have to be honest, I did not purchase a purse. But I'm loving all of the designs and the different quality. I really like that puffer purse. I kind of kick at myself for not getting it. But I do have one already. And then I really liked this Betsy Johnson purse a lot. I could just imagine the sounds it could make. And $39.99. Oh, this is TJ Maxx. $39.99 was an amazing price. but I ended up not getting it. It was just too big. And I was just looking at some of the luggages to see, maybe I take home a new suitcase. Who knows? But I did not. There's Natalie. And so now we're going around. Yes, a fuzzy purse. There I am. This one, I could just imagine the sounds. This one was $29.99. All pearls. This one, that was the one I'm kicking myself. I really wish I picked that one up. This one's very nice too. Like all of the sounds. And I thought of Laura the whole time from Lori Latte ASMR. Because she does the public ones, and I should be whispering, shouldn't I? Yeah. But I can just imagine the sounds. I saw some perfumes, and there's the cream velvet. I believe that's a Lattafa perfume. Again, kicking myself for not getting it. But I knew it would be in the car a lot in the heat, and I was worried. So here we are. The next morning, we are driving up to the Football Hall of Fame. And this was for Uncle Angel and Jem. They're both huge fans. There's the Bears. They're huge football fans. And there's the Bills. Uncle Jim's is a Bill fan. And I didn't know if I would enjoy it or not, but I loved it, guys. I loved it. And I took a lot of video here because not everyone's going to be able to get to it. So here we are in Canton, Ohio, and our Airbnb was literally 5 minutes away. Literally 5 minutes. So now we're going to find our parking spot, and we've come inside, and the walls, the art is amazing. It's just so interesting, and the history was just phenomenal. Like, look at how they used to dress. And then over here, why it's on its side, I'm not sure. Apparently my phone just got left on, but there was a lot to see. A lot of the uniforms, a lot of the equipment was there. They had all kinds of people. I can't believe I had my phone in the wrong direction the whole time. But it was so interesting to see the different, there's Uncle Angel, to see all of the different ways of doing things, the changes that have been made through football. It's very interesting. And when they started off, like in the 1920s, and it goes by decades. So they have the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, etc. And it was the early years, and it was just really, really interesting, you guys. And I learned so much about football that I didn't know, right? That it was, I'm really hoping I have not recorded everything sideways. We shall see. Maybe I'll be able to rotate this. I don't know. I'm going to try. Anyways, so we were looking at all of this, and look at that. The old-fashioned, just a piece of leather was covering their head for football. And learning about all the different people, that was super interesting too. Seeing how many people went into this. They even had, and I'll show it to you guys a little later, a section on women in football, which, as the feminist in me, I thoroughly enjoyed. So yeah, this was just so fascinating to me. And this was on the first floor, so there's 2 floors. This was the first floor. I would say the first floor was more history oriented, and the second floor is a lot more interactive and a little bit more team oriented and what specifically you're looking for. I'm so sorry, guys, that I filmed this like this. Okay, here we go. Now we're doing better. So here's the Bears, because Uncle Angel's a huge Bears fan, and I've told you guys that before. So it was just really interesting to see. And I love seeing the NFL owners at the time. And I wanted to show you too, like this was an old picture, but even back then you can see the women that were involved and the female owners of the teams, which I don't think gets talked about nearly enough. Women play a big role in history. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to say anymore. But look at this statue. This is incredible, guys. The movement in it, the muscles, the artistry in some of these statuaries was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And this is Jim Thorpe, the legend. There's Uncle Angel. He's like a kid in a candy store right now. And this was the football through the years. And you may think, okay, football, big deal. It was so fascinating to see the changes that have taken place in the different ways that the footballs are designed. There I am. Hello. I found that fascinating. Like, look at that, guys. Look at that older football. It's all so fascinating. And I was so surprised at myself how fascinated I was. It really made football come alive for me. I thought, okay, I'll get a kick out of the uniforms and things. This was incredible. Absolutely incredible. There's my shoe compared to that foot. We're talking not even a quarter of the size. That's right. I wore shorts. I told you I was going to, and I did. But yes, I had to put my shoe against it. Uncle Angel is filming right now. But that's statuary. And then the second floor, there's like a little balcony around it. So you can look down and into it and see all the different. That was so interesting. The 1928 world champions, the steamroller, which I thought was so, I love that coat, I have to tell you. I did not expect to get so into all the fashion part of it, because there was a lot of the fashion and how the equipment is made. This was the interactive part on the second floor that I absolutely loved. This is the grip. Look at how big their hand is compared to mine. I look like a child compared to them. Like, my hand is teeny tiny compared, but it's so neat. And, you get to touch things and feel it, and you really get to see the size difference. And these guys can be massive, but they also had like the shorter players, and I got excited and walked around with my phone for a bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Not everything has to be perfect. This was really cool. Hello there. You got to try on shoulder pads, but I didn't realize that they moved up and down. So like literally my whole face was covered by them. But we did get to move them down, and oh my goodness, they were huge on me, just huge. And the different helmets, and that, even finding out the science involved in creating the helmets was incredible. That part was so interesting. And then just seeing the different teams and who won. There's his Bears. Yes, there's his Bears. And there's my Cowboys. That's right, I'm a Cowboys fan. But it's, and I knew these names. I knew Brady and Aikman. So maybe I'm not as unfluent in football as I thought that I was. But again, just so interesting. That was the original Chicago Bears merch. There's from the balcony looking down into that statue of Jim Thorpe, which was like, the place is massive, and the people that work there are just so incredibly kind. This is the room that took my breath away. This was a room about character and all of the different ways that these are amazing human beings and what they've overcome and what they've done, and how much character, integrity, excellence, honesty, honor, these all matter. This isn't just play to win and that's all that matters. This is about being people and helping the world, and the difference that people made. One of the football players went on to become a Supreme Court justice, and actually helped build this building. And he was from Canton, Ohio. So this one on resilience, guys, this touched me so much. This is a gentleman that was born with a malformed foot and set records for his kicking. He was raised not to let it stop him, and it just, this is humility. This one, oh my goodness. After 9/11, this gentleman went in to join the armed services and was actually killed in Afghanistan. Now, this is the Hall of Fame busts. When they're inducted into the Hall of Fame, they get a bust made of their head, and the workmanship in this, the artistry is absolutely incredible. And it's every year. And this year, I believe there was 5 inductees, and they were actually, while we were there, setting up for the 2025 inductees, which I felt really honored, to be honest, to be there. But going in this room, and it's dimly lit so that just the statuaries are lit, it's quieting. It was very quiet. You could almost hear a pin drop in there. And it was just awe-inspiring when you look at all of these men. And it's not just their sportsman excellence, but it's their sportsmanship that's honored as well. And I did not expect to get so into this. Now, this was a holographic movie. I couldn't film the movie, but we're in an actual locker room. And they've done it up with different... I knew Merlin Olsen because he was in Little House on the Prairie. But it's different years, different... And then Joe Namath was a holographic image, which was very well done. And took us through the excellence and some of the Hall of Fame inductees and what they've been through. Like, look at Uncle Angel's in awe. Like, just in awe. And Natalie's getting into it too. And it was just so fascinating, and all the teams. And the show went on, I think the show was 17 minutes. Absolutely fascinating. Just fascinating. These are the different rooms and they have inspiring messages everywhere. And inside the locker rooms was the aftershave. I could not get over, high karate and aqua velva. And this was a motorcycle, but you're not allowed to touch them or go on them or anything, but it was so interesting to look like there's Jim and Uncle Angel. And it was just so good. Oh, we're back to sideways again. No, now we're upside down. Who knows what I'm doing, guys? I'm so sorry. But that's where we were talking to people, and this was really cool. Oh God, I really didn't realize my phone was on. There's the women in football I was talking about. But Uncle Angel got to, they were showing an instant replay, and you have 60 seconds to make the call. And you can look at different camera angles. And so Uncle Angel got to decide and make the call, and he was right. So he was very happy about that. So like I said, it's very interactive, and the people that work there, they take so much pride in it. I highly recommend, if you can get there. You don't even have to know about or even like football to completely... There's Uncle Angel he just loved that. Just loved it. We actually got a picture of him just behind it, so it looks like he's almost throwing it. He liked that very much. There's the Cowboys. And everything is just so fascinating. I just could not get over how interesting Joe Montana. I know Joe, I've heard of Joe Montana, so I just thought the whole thing was inspiring and empowering. And you get to see playbooks, like real playbooks, and everywhere you look, there's like little screens where you can, scan your QR code and watch it on your phone or watch it on the screens and see all about the different people, all about the different venues that they have. They were talking about some of the arenas. It was just so, so interesting. What the heck are we looking at there? Who knows? Oh, this was my other favorite part, guys. Of course, the jewelry. These are the different Super Bowl rings. And what I found super, super fascinating, most of them were made by Jostens. You know, the company that makes the high school rings and college rings makes the Super Bowl rings. Now, there were a few that were made by Tiffany's, which, again, I like that too. But it was so interesting to see the different sizes and shapes. And they had all the winners. Yeah, there's the Cowboys. Lord, look at that for us. There's the Cowboys. And there's the Bears. It was just so interesting. And the Raiders. And I believe it was the Raiders. I could be wrong. I think they used Tiffany's. But yeah, so now we're back on the road. And like I said, it was a lot of driving for Natalie, but she said she didn't mind. The guys offered, but it was so much fun. And now we're on the way to Kentucky. And that's a 5-hour drive, I believe it was. So we're at the Barrel. We got to Kentucky. Those stairs were freaking treacherous, guys. Absolutely treacherous. So now we're on our way to dinner. So, yeah, we're all talking about where we're going for dinner. And we ended up finding the Bluegrass Sabre. And it was phenomenal. The food was delicious. The service was amazing. And it was just all really, really good. And look at that scenery, guys. That's what I couldn't get over. Everything was so clear and crisp. Like when we came back into Toronto, it was a haze. Everything was hazy. But this was just beautiful. So this is our first stop the next day. This is Buffalo Trace Distillery. And we are going to tour the grounds. This place is massive. Absolutely massive. And our guide's name was Meredith. And she was so interesting and really knew her stuff. And she used to be a teacher. And she made a joke that that's probably why she drinks. But she you could tell she was a teacher because she really knew how to engage us and keep everyone's attention. But like we're still driving up to it. The acreage is amazing. It is so big and it has so many different buildings. And I just found the whole thing fascinating. So this is where we're going into Buffalo Trace. So this is where we're meeting up with Meredith. And we've got our tickets already. So Jim's just going to sign us all in. And we all had to show ID, you know, because they thought I was under 21. Don't laugh. And we all got our bracelets so that we could go on the tour. So now we're going to wander the grounds. And Meredith took us on an amazing tour. And I was shocked at how much is still done by hand, you know. And she told us the story of how it got its name, Buffalo Trace. And, you know, that this was the area. And it was just, and everybody's taking pictures. And it was so interesting. But you see where that building is. I'm going to show you more about it later on in the video. But you could see where the flooding had gone up to. So that part was so sad. Up here, these are the cables and the drains that are running the distilled water through and helping with the temperature control. And they're everywhere, guys. They are all over the place. And there's the water tower with Buffalo Trace on it, which was just amazing. And there's so many different people that have owned it. And this was, I'm trying to think, this was the barrel room. Now, when making bourbon, a barrel can only be used once. So these are brand new barrels that have not yet been used. And they were coming off the conveyor belt as we were there. It was so interesting to see. And then once a barrel is used, it's sent other places, because you've had things that have like sherry that was in a bourbon barrel, or beer that was aged in a bourbon barrel.
you even had hair products in bourbon barrels. Like, things happen. So nothing goes to waste, which I absolutely loved. I love that whole thing. But it was barrels as far as we could see. It was so interesting. And what I really love too is you can even use some of these barrels as decor. Now we're going into the filling room. And this was really interesting. So they're filling up this. We're coming around the corner and you can see it. This is where the barrels are coming out filled, and then they'll go into the different rick houses that, yes, I'm coming, Uncle Angel, thank you. So see them all coming out. That was the rolling out the barrels. And it was so interesting to watch them coming out to be aged. And I just found that to see it go from one empty barrel into another room, and then this was the distillery, and it was shut down for that time that we were there. But when you walked in, I thought it would be like really alcohol smell. What I could smell a lot of was yeast, and I could also smell caramel, because of the sugar content, I guess. And it was hot, guys. It was so hot in there, but so fascinating. And what I was saying about the barrels is they use them as decor as well. Like, you can use the top of the barrel as like a bar sign. Even the slats can be used upside down as a candle holder. This was the part I found the most fascinating. This was the bottling, and it's done by hand. It's done by hand, guys. The people are putting on the labels. They're putting on the stoppers. I just found that so fascinating that it's still done by hand. I love that. And then we were just looking around the room. We were all standing in front of the fan. But see what I was saying about that they use the tops of barrels. And they were showing how many millions of, like, this is going on to 9 million barrels of Buffalo Trace that they've made. They talked about the bourbon boom that happened when everybody was drinking it, which has kind of come back into fashion, because for a while they were not drinking bourbon. And a lot of people say that happened honestly because of the younger generation was going more towards cocktails like James Bond would drink. So this was our tasting. So we had these small drinks in front of us, and I'm going to taste. It burned, guys. It was very warm for me, and I don't like bourbon, but I thought I'm going to show you guys what it's like and how I do. So this is, I'm not happy. You don't chug it. You sip it. You do not shoot it. That's what they said to us. They didn't want to see anybody shooting it, that you're supposed to take a sip. But then they did give us chocolate at the end, which was a bourbon ball, and I like them. So this is just water to clean my palate. And so let's see what we're doing now. So I'm tasting one. So you smell it, and I'm not doing it correctly, because you're supposed to have your mouth open so that you get the smell. And apparently, if you're smelling in one nostril, the other nostril won't smell, but that changes throughout the day. So now you take a small sip and you let it run in, and I do not like it at all. Uncle Angel thinks that's hysterical. I do not like it. It is like tasting gasoline, guys. I'm like, I need my water. Please just give me the water. Okay, so more water. Oh, now I have to take a second sip, because the second sip will change how you. It did not. If anything, it was worse. I was dying. Oh my god, I really hated it. Okay, guys, to be fair, this was probably my first taste of bourbon. After that, the sips I gave to Uncle Angel. I just could not. And they're like, is this their first time? And I told them I was dying from the taste of this stuff. It was not something I enjoyed. Let's put it to you that way. So we're talking about how it felt, and so now we're going on to the second one. So this one is more aged, and I did the smell thing, but again, we learned about opening your mouth at another one. So I like the smell of this one better. It had a more caramelly taste and vanilla. I could, the baker in me was coming out. And I'm like, so I'm listening to what they're telling me, taking my water, making sure that, So I'm watching everyone else, and you can't tell in this, but I'm praying I don't have to taste this again because I don't want to. So I think this was my last one. I think we'd had 3 already. But I'm listening. 10 years. So that one was a 10-year, and the second one that I tried was the 7-year. So this is the 10-year-old bourbon, and at my age I need glasses, so I do the sniffy again, and now the sip. And you just want it to kind of coat your tongue. And I'm trying really, really hard, you guys, really hard. Really hard to be a good sport about it. He was going to take my bourbon. And I'm trying to be, a learner and understand about them. I gave it to him. I'm like, here, just take it. I cannot drink that. There is no way I could drink that. They were laughing at me because I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I just could not taste this anymore. But it's what happens, right, guys? That's what happens. So they were just teaching us more about it. And all I could think of at this point, I know exactly what I'm thinking. When do I get to the chocolate? Just let me have the chocolate. So I'm listening. And as you can see, I am an incredible lightweight when it comes to drinking. Just those little sips are already hitting me. Plus, it was hot. I was so hot. See, it's a little bit hitting me. But it was fascinating to hear them talk about the bourbon. And I like anyone that takes so much pride in doing something. And this was definitely so much. Oh, this is the rye. Now we're going to try the rye. Which, by the way, probably tastes worse. And I can smell caramel. I don't like rye either, okay? I'm just telling you. I'm looking all around, like, please don't make me drink this, but people are looking at me. And the person in front of me was from Ohio, and he goes, I had more fun watching you try the drinks than the tour itself. So, okay, thanks. So I'm giving it the sniffy test, trying it. It smells okay. I'm like, L'Chaim, here we go. I'm trying it and tasting it, and it's worse. It is worse. It is so much worse, guys. And it coats your tongue, so like I can't get rid of the taste. Here you go, Uncle Angel. Help yourself. I really didn't like it, you guys. I need more water. I'm having the chocolate now. I have earned my chocolate. I'm having it. I don't care what anyone says. Please, don't do it. So, the first thing I do is take the pecan off. Of course, it's a pecan ball. Well, it's a bourbon ball. But I ate the pecan, and that helped get some of the taste out of my mouth. So now I sniff my chocolate. This one I like the smell of. The bouquet on this is very nice, I must say. I took the bite. It's really good, you guys. And there is a bourbon taste in it. But it's almost like a sour taste. It was good sour. It was good. It was so good. Now we're off to the next distillery that we are seeing. Because on this day we saw 2. So we saw Buffalo Trace, and now we're on our way to Whiskey Thief. I loved Whiskey Thief, I have to tell you. It was a very long, winding road, but it was much more relaxed. It was more of just a tasting, and it'll be really interesting when we get there. I'll show you. But they would give you the samples so that you sat down. We were in the shade. We sat outside. When we felt like it, we went and had another taste of another kind. It was really, really relaxing. It was the perfect experience. And for those that are worried, Natalie didn't drink. Okay, I think she tried one bourbon. So there, at no point was drinking and driving ever an issue at all. In fact, when we were in Ohio and we went to TJ Maxx and to dinner, we had all had a couple of drinks, so we had Ubered there and back. So we were very careful, guys. Don't worry about that. And I want everyone else to be that careful too, please. So we're coming right up into Whiskey Thief now. And they had quite a few buildings, so we had to follow the road around to where it said the tastings were. And it was so fun. It really was. So we finally found it, because we might have gotten a wee bit lost. Just a wee bit lost. But we managed. So now we're in the actual tasting area. So you see the vats and you see the barrels, which I found so interesting. Now this is Carly. Hello. And I am not filming this, so somebody held the camera the wrong way. But this is Carly, and Carly is one of our little angels, and she recognized us. So that was so much fun to meet her. It was the highlight of my trip, I have to be honest. So this was the first one, and yeah, that's a no. That's a no. That's a cut. I can't drink that. And there's Uncle Angel thoroughly enjoying himself. And there's Jim. And like I said, we were sitting outside in the shade. There was a cat that was going around. Some people had their dogs. It was very, very relaxed. Very easygoing. Now, here's Carly. Uncle Angel is going to be bottling his own. So they put those thingies in. They look like giant needles to me. And you keep your finger over the hole, and then you have to pull it out and put it in to the bottle. And it's not as easy as it looks, and they can get heavy. So Uncle Angel spilled, and he just felt so bad about that. I'm like, well, it happens. But this part was so much fun to actually bottle your own. And when the bottle's full, you take it up and Carly seals it and puts the stickers on it. And it was awesome. It really was. It was such a cool experience. So I think I've just passed. Yes, I passed the phone to Natalie, and I'm going to help him bottle. So she's filming now. That's why her hand is so steady. So I'm holding the bottle for him, and then he had had a few, just a few samples there, because by this point we've had like 5 samples, and he's had more because I don't drink them. So he's filling it, and you only fill it just up to where the neck starts. You can't fill it all the way to the top. Oh, I love you too, honey. But it really isn't as easy as it looks, guys, because that copper gets really heavy, actually, and it's almost full. Almost. Natalie did a good job. She filled her own too, and she did a really good job. But each of these barrels has different proofs and ages, and I didn't fully understand all of that, I'm going to be honest. But it was interesting. I mean, this is a bourbon barrel tour, right? As someone said to me, we're on the bourbon trail. So that part was super, super interesting. And I think it's almost full now. Almost. We all had bourbon. Natalie and I had matching t-shirts, and Jim and Brad had bourbon t-shirts. So it did get overfilled. So, and I got it on my hand. Oh, don't lick my fingers. But Uncle Angel, she poured off the excess into a shot, so he had that too. So now this is the next morning, and I just want to show you guys how beautiful our view is. Like I showed you the tour of the bourbon barrel, but that's the barrel we stayed in. And down here, I don't know if you guys can see it. You see that movement? They're wild turkeys. And I thought there'd be like one or two. Oh my gosh, guys, there was like 20 wild turkeys. And little baby turkeys that were running around too. That was just outside our window. Now this is Castle and Key. And this is a really cool, this one has a really fascinating story behind it. The owner, E.H. Taylor, he set it up. He was actually the inspiration for F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. He liked decadent parties. He liked being rich. He liked showing off. He was not a humble man by any stretch. And the reason it's called Castle and Key is it's built to look like a castle. Again, I had the camera the wrong way. This distilling room was so freaking hot. I thought it was going to pass out. I'm not joking. But that, where we first went in, that lakey pond area was shaped in the shape of a key. So hence Castle and Key. But this was an original building. It fell into disrepair and was basically abandoned when the new owner purchased it for less than $1 million. Now, I'm sure they spent $100 million to restore it, but now we're at the tasting, and I liked Castle and Key because they also gave us a cocktail. So and this is where they told us to make sure our mouth is a little open as we smell it. So I did take a taste of, this is Castle and Key, and I'm actually really dreading this. I'm avoiding it at all cost. But Miles was a really interesting guide. He really helped us to understand the different flavors and taste and botanicals. These have huge gardens and sunken gardens, and they're very into and see, I'm showing you, we have to keep our mouth open a bit, and how the different botanicals are used. This is also a beautiful venue for weddings. They have a lot of weddings and events there, which I love that when you can reuse something like that. But that little clear glass there on the end, that's a gin cocktail, which was so good. That was good. I didn't share that with Uncle Angel. Trust me on that one. So they're still talking about it. They get really into the different flavors, right? So that part, I gotta be honest, I got a little bored with. But the thing was to keep smelling it. But then I'm like, I don't like the smell of this anymore. So I'm like, all right, we're going to have to taste it sooner or later, Kimberly. But again, they said, do not chug it, whatever you do. And before it goes, Uncle Angel's already tried his. Before it goes into the barrel, it's actually called something called White Dog. And they say it's White Dog because it's white. And it's like a dog. It'll give you a bite. So I'm smelling it and I'm going to taste it. So I give it a taste. It looks like I'm drinking it all in one gulp. I am not. It hit me later. It was, oh yeah, it really, did not like that one at all. But because the openings are so small, who did I give that to? Oh, you know what? That was Uncle. Okay, the other side is Jim. I did give it to Uncle Angel. But you see how small those openings are? So when you're taking a sip, it does look like I'm taking a really big sip, but I'm really not. But you're basically just letting it coat the tip of your tongue. As I say, Jim and Brad are both bourbon drinkers, so they get it and they understand all these flavor enhancements and that kind of thing. I did not. But I did give it the second taste like the guy asked me to. And I'm just like, no, can't do it. Just do not want to do this anymore. So, but I'm smiling. I'm trying because I don't want to offend anyone or insult. There, Jim is saying hello. So it was funny because meeting Carly really helped as well to show my friends that my channel, we really do make the world smaller. And that's really super important to me. And I hope to you guys too. So I'm listening and I'm like, I don't want to talk about bourbon anymore. You know exactly what I was thinking at that moment, guys. I really, really did not want to think about bourbon anymore. I was staring at the cocktail, thinking, when can I drink the cocktail? I know I have probably liked that one. And again, this was set up almost like a speakeasy, and that was kind of neat as well. And like we had to knock and say, Vinny sent us, and then they opened the door. So I have to smell it. They're very big on smelling it first to try to introduce it. And this one actually didn't. Once he started talking about the different scents and botanicals and herbs, he's like, what you smell is up to you. He goes, there's no wrong answer. And a lot of bourbon and rye and thing to me smells appley. It smells like apple cider or that's what. This one I actually got almost a peachy smell from it. Like a peach cobbler smell. That's what it smelled like. Something surprised me on that one. Strawberry preserves. Yeah, somebody said it smelled like strawberry preserves. I'm like, I don't know that smell at all. So we were having a good time though, because like I said, even a little bit affects me just a touch, just a wee little touch. But yeah, it was so interesting to hear somebody so passionate about it. And Miles was super passionate. In fact, he was getting married in November on the grounds and actually had the engagement ring made from part of equipment. So here I'm tasting that one. Oh, no. Oh, that's bad. It's really bad. I don't like that. I need that out of... Here you go, Uncle Angel. Help yourself. There you go. Jim's like, no, you have to coat your throat. No, I don't have to do that. He just thought I was hysterical watching me drink. Because like I say, what my mouth doesn't say, my face will, guys. You know that about me. My face will tell you everything you need to know if I like something or not. And I did not. And it was burning. And apparently that's called a Kentucky hug. So now I get to have the gin cocktail. And this was like citrus and gin, and it was good. That was nice. You're not getting that one, I told him. And it was icy cold, and it was good. It actually had a, I forget the name of it now, but we actually bought the bottle of the mix. It has no alcohol in it. It's just something you mix with it. So I did that, and when we got home, I made a picture of them for all of us, even Baby Angel, but I added 7-Up to it because that's how I roll. So it was really good. But I was saying that I really like this, and yeah, it was good. In fact, Uncle Angel ended up giving me his because he didn't care for it. He's not a sweet drinker. He likes bitter. Hence why he likes me. No, I'm kidding. But he really liked the more acidy taste of the bourbon, and the kick I did not. So I really liked the gin cocktail. I thought that was very nice. It was very citrusy, and I found it refreshing. They had used club soda, but like I said, I like it a little bit sweeter. So we used 7-Up when we got home, and it was quite good. And I added some Amarena cherries. That was really good. And now we are at, I don't know which one this is. Is this still Castle and Keys? We went to Castle and Keys. I can tell you in a minute which one this is. Sometimes the phone got left on. I apologize for that. No, this was my favorite. This is Rabbit Hole. Rabbit Hole is a much more modern, newer distillery, and it's kind of in the heart of the city. And this is Karen, and Karen's amazing. She was our guide, and this was just the neatest place. And it was designed for tours. like they had the glass floor, they had the rooms. This is upstairs in the tasting bar area where, again, you can have venues, and it's called Rabbit Holes. So there's kind of a take on Alice in Wonderland, down the rabbit hole type of thing. So this would be an amazing venue. I just think it's beautiful to have a party here. Like I could totally see having an anniversary party here, and the view. Now we went into the tasting room, and Karen was just so charismatic, not stuffy at all, and just really wanted to help us to understand them. And that's a little distilled water that you can add a drop to in case it's too strong for you. I ended up pouring it at one point into one of them because I just couldn't take it. But she explained each one of them, and she was having a ball with us. And it was a very small group. There was only 6 of us. So it was really neat to see. So this was the first one we tried. And, you know, she talked about the colors. She talked about how to smell. And again, opening your mouth. And the taste, I didn't like it. And Uncle Angel's beside me. And again, I'm not taking nearly as big a sip as, but they told us to hold it in our mouth and kind of swish it back and forth. I'm in pain. I am in pain right now. And I don't want to swallow, but I did. And I'm trying so hard. No, Uncle Angel was across from me because I slid the glass to him. And I said to Karen, please don't be offended. And she's like, not at all, dear, not at all. She totally got it. She really liked us, I think. I think she liked our group. We were a fun. Yeah, my eyes are watering, guys. It was strong. It was definitely, the heat. There was heat in that bite. I will tell you that right now. But I loved hearing how Karen would talk about Rabbit Hole and about the bourbon. It just made it so interesting. My eyes are going to pop out of my head. Okay. They were just, it was not something I was overly enjoying. But I enjoyed the experience, you know. I enjoyed listening. I enjoyed hearing about it. I'm reading things, and like they had great placings so that you could read what the different notes are. And of course that reminded me of perfume. So I can tell you right now, I'm off thinking about perfume rather than the bourbon. Because the second people start talking about the notes and the scents, that's what I think of. But now I'm taking the next sip. So I do the smell test, you know. And the second taste isn't supposed to be as harsh as the first one. And I opened my mouth to smell. And I smelled the apple. I said that. And she was so good because she could talk cocktails and drinks. Like, she didn't just tell us about the bourbons. Like, this is how you drink it. This was, you can take a sip. You can make a cocktail out of this. This is what she likes to add this to. When I mentioned sometimes I cook with bourbon, they just about had heart failure, everybody. But yeah, no, it's a no to me. It's a no for me, dog. I'm sorry. That's going to be a no. And I'm in pain. I'm in pain, guys. My chest is burning from all of this. I am not there. I'm passing it to Uncle Angel now. And please asking her not to be offended. And she said no, she was not at all. She is a credit to Rabbit Hole. She really was. She was the kind of person that you would definitely want to hang out with. So then we had to try the others. And I can tell you guys right now, the third one, I think that was the rye one, the Derringer. And it's cool because they spelled Derringer D-A-R-E, which that one, if you forced me at gunpoint to drink one, I could drink, but I still didn't like it. But she was also telling us about the artwork. They had commissioned an artist, and they did these really funky, kind of a modern play on Alice in Wonderland characters, which I loved. And you'll see them because I actually bought the Queen of Hearts t-shirt for Baby Angel, and I bought the White Rabbit t-shirt for myself. And I just loved it. I love, well, you guys know that. I love the artwork, statuaries, and the giant bottles they made with these beautiful designs. Oh, absolutely stunning. And it was so interesting to hear her talk about how involved everything is and all that goes into it. And they store off-site. They age off-site. But even while we were standing there, we could see them coming in with the forklifts with the bottle, not the bottles, the barrels. That was so interesting too, as well. And they talk about the char, because they have to char the barrels. And at Rabbit Hole, they don't just char, they char and toast, so that you get a more nuttier, richer flavor. But the smaller the batch, the more expensive it's going to be, because it has to age, right? So think about it. If you get into the bourbon business from the very beginning to start, you know you're going to be 4 to 7 years before you see any money coming in. Everything is going out because it has to age. Oh yeah, I'm in pain on that one. That one was a strong baby. This is where, yeah, other people are using the dropper. MD Angel's not using a dropper, guys. I'm using water. There's no way I could do the dropper here, 2 or 3 drops. I'm like, no, I think I might have offended some of the bourbon drinkers, but you know what? That's okay. I could live with offending them, because this was strong. It really was. And for those of you that are wondering, there's only about 7 minutes left of this video. So just in case you think, is this ever going to end, or you're falling asleep and you're trying to stay awake, I was enjoying myself. Don't get me wrong. So this is the rye. This is rye whiskey. And then we had a big discussion as what can be called a rye, what can be called a bourbon, what can be called scotch. So that was really interesting. And bourbon has to be at least 51% corn as the grain, which I found interesting. So now we're trying the rye, and this is the Derringer. This is actually the bottle Uncle Angel ended up buying and bringing home. So this one, the smell didn't bother me nearly as much, but you can tell I'm not overly thrilled. But I'm listening and I'm learning, and that's the whole thing, right? It was all knowledge, and I want to hear the knowledge. I want to understand the knowledge more. So this was a great learning experience. If nothing else, even if you don't like bourbon, guys, and you have an opportunity to do this, I highly recommend it. Just for the knowledge gained and the artistry involved. Just like when we went in Ireland to the Waterford Crystal Factory, seeing how things are made, seeing the workmanship that goes into it. Yeah, there you go. Uncle Angel gets that one. I don't like it. It's not good. I said I'm so sorry. And then we actually ended up talking about being the fact that even though I don't drink very much, I'm a great mixologist. I love flavors and how to combine them. And I gave them my tip about when making ice cubes, I use half maraschino cherry juice, pop even a maraschino cherry in there, and then the rest water, and freeze it. And then if you put it in like a glass of bourbon or whiskey, blended whiskey, not single malt, as the ice melts, it releases the cherry juice. So you're almost getting like an old fashioned. Well, I think that's the drink. Uncle Angel loves when I do that. He really likes the flavoring of it. And then at the end you have this frozen cherry, and it just helps make the drink a little bit cooler. And I do that for cocktails too. And you can do that too for non-alcoholic drinks. You know, your kids could love that. I love making fancy ice cubes with, you can put herbs in them. I'm not a big herby in my drink person, but some people are. Basil and thyme and rosemary. I like, cherries and citrus. Love putting citrus in ice cubes. And pineapple chunks and all that kind of, and it just makes a punch or any kind of cocktail just that little bit fancier, just so you kind of feel like you've had something, you know what I mean? And here I am listening, but I can tell you right now, I'm off. I think we're talking about the mixologist right now, about making the maraschino cherry juice ice cubes. And Karen, like, even somebody who's in the business, she's like, I love that idea. I'm keeping that, because she would tell us her cocktail recipes too. And I really like that. This was the last one at Rabbit Hole that I got to drink. So we're listening to her talk about how this one is different from the others. And they all are, but not to me. To me, they all taste like gas. See, it's not a huge sip. That one you could really see because of the opening. At this point, I think my taste buds are so numb that I can't do it anymore. I'm just like, it's not going to happen. Like, I am going to try the second sip. I ended up drinking that whole one. Okay. Nope. Now it hit. But I think this was the one where I was trying to prove that I could drink it, because I wanted to see if, as they say, after 2 or 3 sips, your palate is more accustomed to it. But I said I could drink that. But then we had some, because Jim bought some. No, I could not, actually, guys. I think my taste buds at this point were so numb that there's no way I could. So we asked the people at Rabbit Hole where was a good place to go to get lunch. And they recommended we go to the Royals Hot Chicken. Oh my gosh, guys, if you're ever there in Louisville, so good. I had the fried chicken. It was delicious, and it was so yummy. Just amazing. It was some of the best food. It really was. I think we had that, and then I had the pork belly at the Brown Barrel on day 1. That was incredible as well. So here, this is the Rivera drink. That was the last one, and there's the QR if you want to learn more about it. You can scan that. Was there another one? Oh, good Lord. Not another one. So I'm putting everything back. I think we're done. So this is now Angel's Envy. That's right. No, it's not. I think I re-recorded. I think I recorded twice. Oh, there it is. There's the giant rabbit bottle with the artistry, like I was telling you. And there's Uncle Angel with the rabbit. He really liked that rabbit. Here he is with the drinks. He was having a ball. He really was enjoying himself. So this is Angel's Envy. We're just walking up to it. It is right in the heart. Notice there's the angel wings. I couldn't not. How could I not, guys? I got a lot of merch from Angel's Envy just because of the wings. This is where we parked, and this is the Louisville Slugger Stadium, which is directly across the street, as I'm going to show you. There it was Angel's Envy. We went for a minor league baseball game, and it was really fun. It was so freaking hot, though, guys. I was dying from the heat, and now we're on our way home, and I got to go to Dunkin' Donuts, finally. We stopped there for breakfast, and now we're driving through, I believe, we went through Michigan to come home, because we went to Buffalo to come in, but we went through Michigan to come home, and just the scenery alone, and I love these windmills. I know a lot of people have different views on it.
So are any of you still awake? Sorry for the abrupt end, but when we got home, baby Angel had dinner waiting for us. The house was spotless. The pets were taken care of. Everything was wonderful. We were so tired, though. So tired. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really enjoyed sharing it with you. And please always remember, besides drink responsibly, I love you. I value you. I honor you. I pray for you. And I am so very, very glad that each and every one of you was born.